completed my graduation in 2016. I have a bachelor's degree in science, so that does not include any of coding or computer science background. Any guy who you ask this question, okay, he will start with Python statistics and mathematics, okay, which I also believe is extremely important. But the first thing that I would point out would be your attitude around problem solving. From a high level, they will be first asked to explain the entire life cycle of a data science project. If your model is not performing well, retraining your model by hypertuning it. How did you evaluate it? How did you containerize it? How did you implement the CI/CD pipeline? See, if your only motivation will lucrative salary, then obviously after certain time you will feel demotivated. But this should not be marketed as a negative thing. Okay, that now this career option is vanished and no more hiring is going on. This mindset should not be promoted.
Hello everyone, I am Vivekanand from CloudyML's team. Welcome to another podcast. Today's guest is Vikas Das. So he is currently working with Cognizant as a data scientist. So let's know more about him from him itself. So hello Vikas, please tell us more about yourself. What was your education background, and then how did you manage switching yourself from a non-coding background to a coding background? So please tell us more about yourself.
Hi Vivek, and first of all, thank you so much for hosting me on this platform. So I'll start from my education itself. I completed my graduation in 2016, and I have a bachelor's degree in science. So that does not include any of coding or computer science background. Okay, and I started my career as a back office executive from Wipro, and 3 years I was working in the back office only for a very basic entry level job, and that included no coding at all, no analytics. So I started working from the year 2017, and till 2020 I had no clue that where exactly I want to take forward my career, to which specific path. Then COVID happened, and I got a lot of time to realize and to research through a lot of different job roles to make my mind around which specific job role I want to go for and make my career around it. So I explored almost all the jobs that we have in the market around data. That includes, let's say, data engineer, data analyst, a business analyst, data scientist, or machine learning engineer as well. So basically, I was mainly searching around the prerequisites that you need for each and every job role and what are the responsibilities. And what I realized that as a data scientist, I'm meeting most of the prerequisites because you need statistics, linear algebra, calculus, the understanding of all these things. Okay, so I had it already. Okay, and by the time COVID happened, I was already internally moved to analyst profile as well. So I was aware of the basic stuff like basic data visualization or how the data analysis happens, but not majorly around the implementation of coding, statistics, or not at all around machine learning. So I thought that maybe I am on a good spot to kickstart for data scientist career. So I made my mind around it, and since I did not have enough money back in that time to go for a paid course, because let's say back 3 or 4 years back, we did not have so many affordable courses the way we have nowadays, the way you are hosting on your platform. So these were not there back in time. So the courses were really expensive, starting from, let's say, 1.5 lakhs up to 3 lakhs maybe. So obviously, I did not have that much of financial stability to go for it. So what I decided that I will do self study with all the available free resources that I had back then on internet, be it on let's say any famous GitHub repositories, articles, helpful ones, and the YouTube tutorials as well. Okay, and I was very uh, consistent with my practices. I used to work. It was work from home by that time. So I was working 8 to 9 hours, and the rest 4 to 5 hours I was entirely dedicating it to studies, to learn programming and concepts of statistics, machine learning, mathematics, etc. And this is how, but still it was very difficult to land a job actually, because learning the data science concept is a different thing, and marketing yourself as an experienced data scientist to land a job is entirely a different thing. So although I had done few projects, I had my CV prepared and I was actively applying for jobs, but there was no response. Not even I was not even getting selected for an interview. Okay. So I approached a lot of people, more than 100 people on LinkedIn, asking for purely mentorship, nothing else, not even for job. So I was seeking mentorship, and also, if possible, then I was asking for uh, internship if they have anything, if they need my contribution for their project or work. So I was very much open for that. So among more than 100 people, I got a very good positive response from 3 or 4 people. I think 3 people, not 4. Okay, who helped me a lot. So one provided me an internship. He provided me an opportunity to work for a startup based in Germany, I think. And I was straight away included to a machine learning team where I was given to do the hands-on on real life data. Okay. So that was a very good exposure for me. Secondly, there was another mentor who helped me learn the concepts of basic time series models like Arima, Sarima, etc. And he provided me the opportunity to work on time series data. Okay, so that was another good exposure for me. And these mentors also helped me to modify my CV accordingly. That can be at least get shortlisted for an interview. So this support helped me a lot to make that switch into data science. Okay, although there were a lot of people who told me that you know what, it is going to be very difficult or next to impossible for you because you do not belong to a tier one or tier two college. You do not have any BTech or master's degree or any PhD. So that was slightly demotivating, but I was happy with the fact that at least I'm getting to work with these guys, even if I'm not paid. But I can say that I do the work which a data scientist or a machine learning engineer is doing in their day-to-day job. So that was a satisfying factor for me. Soon enough, I got 3 job offers. One was from TCS, other was from a big four company, PwC, and one was from a product-based company, Fossil India. Okay. Although Fossil India provided me an opportunity to work as a data engineer, not a data scientist, but since they were happy with my Python and SQL skills, they were okay to hire me. So these opportunities were really good. Each of them provided me around 2 to 300% hike, because back then I was slight underpaid. So this is the reason. So I went with TCS. I worked there for a while. Then I moved to Cognizant last year. Yeah, this is about it. So since
Right.
then, I'm helping others who are trying to make this transition. I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I have a small YouTube channel as
Right, right. So mostly like I hear from you, you were very passionate towards switching
well.
your from switching towards the data domain, being from a non-coding background. So your passion actually helped you get so many mentors, right?
Yeah. I was passionate more than data science, and prior to data science, I was more passionate about having a very strong career. Okay, because see, when I choose this corporate world, no one in my family or relatives or society supported. Okay, they all told me that you know what, you should be going for government services. You have that educational background and that physical build that you should be going for uh, a job in, let's say, navy or army or paramilitary. Okay, and but I did not want that for me. It is not that I don't respect it. I have a lot of respect for that. Okay, but I also have to parallelly understand that what works for me at least.
Right.
Okay, so nobody in my family or my teachers, any of my teachers supported me with this particular decision. So I was very enthusiastic about establishing myself in IT. Okay, and then secondly, then after exploring a lot of different career options, I found data science to be a very lucrative option for me. Okay, because back then it was trending and it is still trending, and I think it is going nowhere for next at least 15 20 years. It will be transformed in many ways due to the recent AI advancements. Okay, some of the responsibilities of a data scientist may go outdated, like training a machine learning model to learn the text patterns and to do spam or ham classification. This will go away, and lots of responsibilities related to AI will come up. Okay, that how do we work or hyper tune one AI model? Okay, how do we manage it? These things will come up. LLMs or frameworks like LangChain. But as a whole, the data scientist profile is not going anywhere. I think it is future proof. So I have always been very optimistic and enthusiastic about it, and I still am.
Right. Right. Great to hear that. So basically, if what is your thought about skill set? What kind of skill set must be acquired by the person who is trying to switch into data domain? Like everybody knows, you should know Excel, Tableau, or Power BI. Python is one important programming language, right? Then SQL is important. So, but other than this, and also in particular, if I talk about in this particular module also, what exactly we should know and to what
Uh,
extent we should know.
okay, I think any guy who you ask this question, okay, he will start with Python statistics and mathematics, okay, which I also believe is extremely important. But the first thing that I would point out would be your attitude around problem solving. Okay, that is the first thing. Because see, I am telling you something. If I don't have a problem solving mindset, okay, and let's say I get started with Python programming, or I'm making a project or implementing statistics, and I get one simple error, okay, any indexing error, or let's say one specific module is not found, and I feel frustrated around it. Okay, that I am dedicating so much time towards it. Okay, I'm managing time, I'm putting efforts. Why am I getting error? Okay, and this could be one demotivating factor for me, and this can take me away from my studies and practices. Okay, the problem is that I don't have a problem solving mindset. Okay, so this is the first thing that you need to have. Okay, if you get one error, you should, as a data scientist, okay, you should have this mindset of problem solving, that this is my problem, this is the error. Let's try to tackle it by going to, let's say, Stack Overflow. I will ask one LLM model. Okay, I will try different tricks to resolve it. Okay, so because I have literally seen guys and beginners sending me a very basic syntax error on LinkedIn, and they will ask me that, can you please solve it for me? Okay, so if I'm solving it for you, then it will be very difficult for you to get the job. Okay, so that would be first. Then obviously you can move to, if you have this attitude of problem solving, then obviously you move to Python. Okay, you learn the basic data structures, syntaxes. Okay, uh, how do you traverse forward or backward in a, let's say, list or dictionary? These things. Okay, iterating over it, and looking at the coding standard in today's organization, the way they are following, it is very important for a data scientist to have the understanding around OOPS programming. Okay, because in production you are not pushing your Jupyter notebook. Okay, you are pushing your modular coding. The entire project has to be in modular coding where we implement OOPS. Okay, so object oriented programming is something that you really need to have. Then obviously SQL and then you will move to statistics, which is obviously very important to do data cleaning, pre-processing in terms of handling outliers, finding the distribution or normalizing the data, log normal distribution or a z-score. All these things are very important. The basic stuff only. Okay, once you are done with basic, move to inferential statistics, like how do you perform tests, okay, a chi-square test or ANOVA test, these tests, hypothesis testing, okay, these things are required. Then it is time that you move to machine learning, but prior to that, you obviously need to have very basics of mathematics like linear algebra, calculus, the basic multiplication dot product of matrices or tensors, how these things are happening. Okay, so if you have, again, I am not saying that you have to be a very brilliant in mathematics, but at least dedicate a couple of weeks towards it, okay, to understand, so that you have a clarity mentally at least that how two different matrices or vectors are being multiplied with each other and how the shape of the final product will look like. If you have this understanding, it will be very easy for you to understand that how a machine learning model is being trained on multiple features and how it is resulting to uh, the prediction around the target variable. Okay, so this is next. So if you're done with all this, then you are done with the basics. Okay, now you should be learning about that after you have trained and saved your model, how to automate the pipeline. Okay, how to push your code to the CI/CD pipeline, be it on GitHub Actions or Travis CI. Okay, there are multiple platforms where you can perform CI/CD. Okay, because in future you will be continuously making changes to your code, and that code has to be implemented live in the stream. Okay, that this changes has been made successfully. Okay, and then deploying your work finally after creating a user interface, be it a very simple application of predicting house price. Okay, but at least wrap it around one user interface using Streamlit, Fast API. There was one more Flask framework. Okay, once you're done with that, just push your work and deploy it on any services hosted on, let's say, any cloud platform, AWS or Azure, anywhere. Okay, so this is called end-to-end job. That's starting from a data collection to deploying my model. I have done everything. Okay, once you have the knowledge around this entire journey, then it is time you move to more complex problems. Okay, deep learning algorithms, ANN, CNN, computer vision. Then you pick more complex data. Okay, but first you work end to end with a very simple data set, be it Iris data set or Titanic data set. It is okay. I'm not saying that using the Titanic data set you can get a job. Okay, but you can have a very strong foundation of a data scientist. Okay, once you're comfortable with that, move to advanced projects. So this I would say is a very basic and naive strategy for anyone who is getting started. And do not hesitate to take help from AI models. Okay, if you will not take help someone else with, and they will move ahead of you. Okay, so be it any profession, data science or any profession, whether copywriting or non-technical profiles, you will have to learn the implementation of these AI models.
Right, right. And that is the reason we have included in the course also. Like we have one course like how to uh, give prompt and get the response from the chat GPT and
Prompt
everything.
engineering.
Right, right. So that is the main motto behind that. Great, great. So like what kind of questions can be asked during the interview for a fresher, those who are starting their journey in this particular domain? Okay, so what kind of questions can be asked? Can you throw some light on that?
Uh, from a high level, they will be first asked to explain the entire life cycle of a data science project, which
Okay,
I just explained earlier,
right,
starting from data collection, data cleaning, pre-processing, training your model.
right.
If your model is not performing well, retraining your model by hypertuning it. Finally, you get a good performing model. Then how did you evaluate it? Okay, how
Right.
did you containerize it using, let's say, Docker? How did you implement the CI/CD pipeline? And then finally, how did you do the deployment? So you should be having a very crisp understanding from for the end-to-end lifecycle. This is first thing. Secondly, if you are able to deliver this explanation well, okay, then they will pick each topic, let's say data cleaning, or let's say model training, or let's say model evaluation, and they will ask you a lot of questions around that. So around data cleaning, they will ask your understanding around how do you tackle outlier in a data set, okay, or how uh, how do you find the importance of the distribution of the data, how do you go around tackling the null values, all these things, or how do you manage the categorical values, categorical columns. They can go very deep inside that. Then again, on the topic of machine learning, they will definitely, if you are a beginner, they will definitely ask you a question on linear regression and logistic regression. Okay, although it is not used that much in industries to solve real life problems, but it is very crucial to check your understanding on the fundamentals. Okay, so be very clear around problems like overfitting, underfitting. Okay, uh, ridge lasso regression. Okay, what do you understand by optimizing uh, the performance of the model? What actually we are trying to minimize? Okay, why are we trying to minimize? A basic understanding around loss and cost, all these things, and they will go very deep inside it. Okay, bias variance, they will ask all of it. Then, in terms of evaluating a model, they will ask you around uh, accuracy, precision, recall. Okay, they will check your understanding around type 1 and type 2 error. Okay, they will ask you if type 1 error is important, which evaluation metric you will use. If type 2 error is important, which metric you will use. Let's say in a given use case, both type of error is important to minimize both of them. Then what will you go for? So we go for F beta score, right? That will be beta will be 0.5. Okay. So these things are very important. How do you evaluate the regression performance of a regression model? So then you talk about R square, adjusted R square, these things. Okay, what is the difference between these two? How do you do feature selection? So they will go very deep around all these, and then depending on the job role and responsibility, they will also go around your understanding on the deep learning models. Okay, so CNN, RNN, they might ask you to explain about LSTM on GRU, these circuits. Okay, then explain you. They will ask you to explain the advantage of using multiple layers of perceptrons to train on neural network. Okay, so these questions should be expected during an interview. If you are someone who is experienced, then definitely you will be asked a lot of questions around your previous project. Okay, but if you are someone who is absolutely fresher, then the interviewer as well understand that either you have not done real-time projects, or even if you have done, then they are for academic purpose.
Right. 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 So one question which is very common, right? So suppose I am a fresher and I want to switch from a non-coding background to coding background. I want to become data analyst. Okay. So what happens is initially looking at the lucrative salaries, looking at the trend of this domain, what I think is I can be data analyst, right? But once I step in and start learning, what happens is finding the difficulty during learning the programming language, SQL. What is like I lose the motivation. Okay,
Absolutely correct. Absolutely
right.
correct.
So what should be done in this scenario?
See, if your only motivation to step into this job role is lubricative salary, high paying jobs, okay, then obviously at after certain time you will feel demotivated. Okay, obviously you need to keep this in mind that let's say this job is in demand and they are paying well for this. This is one important factor that you need to have. I'm not saying avoid it completely. Okay, but in case this is your only motivation, okay, then as I mentioned earlier, you won't have a problem solving mindset. You will be absolutely fed up when you get to see a lot of errors, when you get to see a messy data, okay, when your machine learning model is not performing well, you will feel absolutely demotivated. In fact, I'll tell you, uh, my experience, I literally know someone, okay, who was very enthusiastic about stepping into this data science job role, coming from a testing background, okay, software testing, and he actually made it. Okay, he landed a job that also in a top product-based company in India. I mean, he just figured it out to clear the interview. But within 2 to 3 months, he called me and said that I'm not able to take pressure. Okay, I don't care about a high-paying job. I'm fine if even I'm fine to join a different company. Okay, with an easygoing job role and responsibility, even if they are paying me 20% lesser. Okay, because so I asked him that why are you thinking like this? That you are okay to be slightly underpaid, but you want to go for a different job role. He said because now it has started affecting my well-being, and now see this is a very serious thing. Okay, for the sake of uh, money or high-paying salary, if your well-being is getting impacted, okay, because he was not able to mitigate the risk at the beginning stage, that along with the high salary, responsibilities will be like this, problems will be like this. Okay, so he was not able to estimate that situation. Okay, so this is something that I have witnessed someone going through in my experience. So this should not be your only motivation, a high paying salary. Okay, a part of that, you should be also enjoying if your code is being compiled successfully. You should enjoy that. Okay, you should be enjoying if you were able to debug your code, okay, after let's say 2 hours of hard work, okay, but you did it by yourself. You should be able to enjoy that. Okay, you should be able to enjoy if your machine learning model is performing well, if it is able to make good predictions. You should be enjoying that as well. Okay, so and lastly, you should be enjoying that as a data scientist, you are able to create a lot of value for your employer or for the organization, be it coming from a healthcare domain or let's say finance domain. They are also hiring massively. Okay, so these factors should all be included. Otherwise, after one certain point, you are absolutely right that people, when they are stepping into coding, they are doing coding for let's say 2 weeks, and then the actual time comes to implement their coding skills on a project, they feel really demotivated. Okay, it is because they did not have a correct expectation in mind.
And that is the reason, they complete all other modules somehow or other. They complete Python modules, and then finally they start posting that I'm job ready, but they don't find a job. Of course,
They are
there are
not.
so many openings. There are so much job in the data domain, but still they talk about like there are no jobs in the market, and they create some kind of uh, you can say that negativity that you cannot
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
things.
See, the job openings keep on increasing and decreasing over the year. Okay, there will be one certain phase of the year for 2 to 3 months. You will notice that a very cold time is going on. Not a lot of hiring is happening. It is there. Okay, but you will also observe that for a certain time, for let's say 8 to 12 weeks, the hiring goes on very aggressively. Okay, companies hire in bulk. Okay, so that phase is also there. I'm not saying the hiring is consistent throughout the year. Okay, sometimes it is high, sometimes it is low, but this should not be uh, marketed as a negative thing. Okay, that now this career option is vanished and no more hiring is going on. This mindset should not be promoted. Instead, I would say if the cold phase is going on, you should be focusing more on creating uh, really good and impressive projects, so that when the hiring phase now turns back, you will be the first to be chosen. Okay, so, and again, this is irrespective of any profile or job role. You will have to be updated and optimistic. You cannot be negative around it. Okay, see, after the recent launch of this Devon software, AI software engineer, okay, again, a lot of negativity started spreading, right? That now jobs will be over, no more hiring will be going on around the software domain. But I don't think there is anything to panic. Okay, see, openings will be lesser. Okay, maybe the bulk hiring will not happen the way it used to be earlier. Okay, if you are an average coder, an average data scientist doing the average work, average coding, then it will be a tough time for you. But if you are able to make some difference in order to belong to that top 20% cluster, then there is nothing to be worried about. Okay, so don't be an average guy, I would say, because the world has become very competitive. There is cutthroat competition out there. So your preparation, your strategy, nothing should be average. Okay, so just if you're really what do I say, enthusiastic about making a career, okay, have a very more than average strategy you should have. Okay, a very strong strategy. Cut yourself from the world. Okay, your social life should be optimized. Just lock yourself till the time you hit that success. Okay. I can get a lot of hate around it that I am not promoting the work-life balance. But see, this balance will not help you if you are eventually not becoming successful. What will you do with this balance? Okay. So even for, let's say, 6 or 8 months, if this balance is getting hampered, okay, it is worth it. I would say it is worth it. Again, if you land a job, you have uh, made yourself settled around it. You will get the balance back. It will come back.
And eventually it is very much noticed that when you start something new, you have to put more efforts, right?
Yeah.
And once you become expert in that, then the world is yours. You can enjoy doing that, and in a very you know
Yeah.
if you have the skills, something can be done in a very easy way also, right, with lesser efforts. So that is right. Fine, thank you so much. You have shared so much information. We'll end the podcast over here. So thank you everyone for watching the podcast. We'll meet again. Thank you, Vikas, once again.
Thank you, Vivek. Yeah. Bye.